All right, guys, we are back, and today we've got the part 2 from the female perspective, manifested the SP in 2 days. We just went over part 1. I will link the video right here if you want to refer to it. And with that being said, let's get into it. So, hey everyone, my partner posted a success story about how they manifested an ideal relationship, and I thought I'd add to it because we were manifesting each other, and it might be interesting to give my POV of the situation as well. Basically, I was also into consciously manifesting him, and my process looked a little different from his. We barely knew each other or talked before, and I would say we were barely acquaintances back when I first made the decision to manifest him. Before I get into the details of my mental diet and everything I wanted to mention the importance of perspectives in manifesting. 2 days is a short time period to manifest an SP, and although that may not be the majority of cases for SP or other manifestations, in general, it's totally doable. What I'm trying to say is that it's possible with the right mindset and level of discipline and conviction. With that being said, however, please don't feel the need to compare your own journey with mine or anyone else's that you might come across. Everyone has a different learning process, and each manifestation is a unique experience, of course. So, what I did, I barely used any techniques. I didn't affirm a single time throughout those 2 days. I did maybe 2 or 3 visualizations total, but without the intention of, all right, I have time right now, so I will sit down and visualize this scene. It felt natural to me, and I did it because I understood that what I'm entertaining on the inside will eventually reflect on the outer world. I made sure I was focusing on returning to the state of the wish fulfilled, or how it would feel if I was already in a relationship with this person. To me, that meant happiness, excitement, and several other positive emotions. An important thing here is that emotions follow after acceptance. I first accepted that creation is finished. I am the creator of my own reality. I know what I'm doing, and that I'm already the person who has my SP. Emotions are not required to manifest, but they do help speed things up, which is why I got results so fast. It's going to be very unhealthy and difficult for someone to force positive emotions without truly changing beliefs or having acceptance towards their desire. I'm sure a lot of people have heard the saying, not doing to get, but doing to be in manifestation, and I completely agree. Embodying the state of being who you desire to be is very different from the mindset of, I'm someone who's trying to manifest my SP, therefore I will do XYZ in order to get them. Throughout those 2 days, I was extremely disciplined with my mental diet. Of course, I had moments of doubt or even on the verge of spiraling, but I redirected my focus towards something else, or I paused to remind myself everything I know about. It's really hard to keep entertaining the negative or lack of movement in the 3D when you truly understand manifestation on a deeper level. It just doesn't make sense to do so. And I gave myself gentle reminders of that every time I felt like I wanted to slip into a bad state. Dealing with the 3D. Even though it happened in 2 days, trust me when I say I had no way of knowing things were happening behind the scenes. To be honest, even up to 3 minutes before we confirmed our relationship, I still wasn't 100% sure my SP was interested in me. It wasn't that my SP barely gave any hints in the 3D. I would say they gave 0 hints. It seemed purely platonic from a 3D perspective, but I didn't allow that to affect my mental diet one bit. Conclusion. I know that manifesting an SP might seem scary or hard at first, and although I gained success within 2 days, that doesn't mean I've never had horrible spirals in the past regarding other things related to manifestation. Another thing I'd like to mention is that I'm not someone who's entirely new to the law of assumption. I didn't learn it within 2 days and manifest my SP in 2 days. I've spent months studying this, reading Neville's books, etc. I think what I've learned most from this experience is that it's important to buckle down and just do it. You truly have nothing to lose from this and everything to gain. I promised myself that no matter what, I would just stick to my knowledge and do it without questions because I bought the pearl of great price in those 2 days and found conviction. I trusted myself more than I trusted 3D, and it paid off quickly. To everyone that is manifesting an SP, it's worth it, it's doable, and I would even say it's simple. It's easier than you think. Results come faster than you expect if you do it right, and I wish everyone the very best. Last but not least, I think my SP's version of their I'll link it here. And yeah, Cool. Now, somebody says, can we please normalize saying things in simpler ways like you do? Seriously, so many posts here are cryptic and overcomplicate this stuff. Your posts and comments made it perfectly clear what you're talking about and what you actually meant. It's a huge help, so thanks for that. Also to all the people here who replied to this question in the comments, I love you and read them all. Your time is very appreciated. That's funny. Somebody left an extremely complicated and strange reply as a joke here to that comment. And so here we go with a question more about the circumstance of how this arose, which is interesting here. So Neville said you don't have to lift a finger to achieve your manifestation. Since both of you were manifesting each other, I'm curious to know, how did y'all start talking? Who initiated, or rather who contacted who first? Congratulations, this is super cute. Thank you. We started talking in social interactions between a larger group of people, but it was more polite replies here and there. We weren't even contacts. He was the one who sent me a friend request at first. As for talking in private, to be honest, there wasn't much of it. After we got together, we went over what happened for both of us, and we came to the mutual conclusion that most of the attraction wasn't due to DMs. And that's the wonderful thing about manifestation, because if someone wanted to attract a partner the 3D way, without mental dieting, they might want to initiate conversations, get close, at least talk about some deep stuff, possibly spend hours in private contact before the other person starts catching feelings. But none of that happened between us. Things moved fast, and I know it's due to the law. All right, so I'm gonna go through one last, because she leaves a lengthy post and explanation to this question right here. Congrats, very interesting, and I love how you explain your methods in the third paragraph. Amazing insight. I'm approaching the same realizations. It's been far too slow, but it is what it is. It just sucks. I won't get my time back either way. Gotta accept it. Okay, I'm curious what your thoughts about self-concept are. These posts reminded me of a thought I've had with an SP in mind, in general even. I felt like if I taught her the law, if she knew how limitless she really is, would she really imagine me? I do like myself, it's just comparatively, I'm not even that handsome, I have nothing, I am nothing yet. In a relationship, you're perpetually chosen that has felt pretty daunting. I've thought of it more like something you reach with calculated or skilled steps than to then believe in yourself. I've never had a girlfriend, but this has also shown in my approach to dating apps. I used to think that I had to be charming, although I was unsure, to say the right things, although I don't know how. Rather, it's just a feeling selected for who you are. So she has a long reply here. She says, hey, thanks for your kind words. My thoughts on self-concept are a bit different than what most modern day coaches would recommend. Because I read a lot of source material such as Neville and Seth, I don't agree with that you should work on your self-concept or do your self-concept before you manifest. Because to be honest, it's something that comes with your state. By state, I mean state of consciousness, awareness, whatever you choose to call it. We have natural default dwelling states. Let's say you're dwelling in a state of lack. This might look like you want your SP, but you feel like they hate you, say something hurtful, you're not worthy. All these beliefs, self-concepts that are closely tied, where you let your mind stay. However, if you change your state, which is a really quick 1-second conscious decision, by feeling as though you are the person who already has your desire, then it's a new state. Try practicing for just 1 or 2 seconds. How would it feel if you got confirmation that your desire is here? When you accept that to be true, you'll obviously feel a lot better about yourself, right? And when you do so, that new state implies a new set of beliefs and self-concept. If you're a person who has a lovely relationship, then you believe your partner is in love with you. Your self-concept would be much better than the state of lack. So in my opinion, there's no such thing as trying to raise your self-concept as a prerequisite when you practice returning to states, aka your dwelling place. It usually sticks after just 1 to 3 days of practice. Then it'll become your dominant dwelling state. So there's some more stuff about teaching your SP the law. Then she says, self-concept around dating is a bit tricky for me to answer because I've personally never had an issue with it. and this is exactly the point that I was just gonna make here. I think the reason that for her, it just takes these 1 to 3 second state shifts is because she probably already has a healthy self-concept around relationships and love. And for somebody that already has, we have all kinds of realms of life, right? But for someone who's always seen themselves as being very successful at relationships, it's not going to be as hard because they're not combating years of already like mental programming saying, I'm not good at relationships, right? For her, this happened to work for her in 2 days because she probably already has a lot of healthy beliefs around this topic. But let's go into what she says here. So I'm not trying to come off as bragging or anything, but I've only seriously liked 4 guys in my life, and they've all liked me back. One of them is still interested in me to this day, which makes 4 years. In my opinion, you really don't have to think too hard on how attractive you are and stuff because everything is just your belief. Beliefs are not facts about your reality. They're just thoughts that were reinforced by your imagination and emotion. And that's why I have a free ebook that is linked down below. You guys feel free to download it. It's absolutely free, with a full guide on how to remove limiting beliefs. I've tried a lot of different techniques over the years, and the techniques that I share in the ebook are the most effective at what I've found to create those new neural pathways so that you're not entertaining that old story that you want to get rid of anymore. It can be very difficult though, through years and sometimes decades for people of reiterating the same story. And a lot of the time, with love and relationships, it's a huge sticking point for people. Some people might have a lot of money. There's guys that are multimillionaires, billionaires that still have problems with this area. And even though they're able to create and manifest all these amazing things in their lives, right? So much success, they still struggle with this area because they're different areas. And you can have a self-concept where you have a track record or you have beliefs that are very positive in one area of your life, but also be having this dwelling state. Your dominant awareness is filled with the awareness that you are not very good in relationships, that you have consistently been left by people or that things never work out. And so anyways, that is available down below for you guys to check out if you're interested in that. But let's go in with the rest of her post here. She says, if you consistently think about how you're nothing right now and you imagine rejection or that you don't feel worthy, then create a belief that there might be negative for yourself. That will create a belief. Yes, the more you dwell in that state, the more it sticks, the more it'll reflect in your reality. Beliefs aren't hard to change though. You could reverse limiting beliefs within days if you really work on it. I would say though that it's easier said than done. That's why I have these techniques, and it took me a lot of trial and error, and I tried a lot of different things before I stumbled upon the techniques I'm talking about that actually worked for me personally. So everything you said in your second paragraph is just a belief. Don't worry about it having negative effects unless you allow it to be that way. And lastly, with the law, you really don't need to go full out 3D dating, if you know what I mean. I didn't have to lift a single finger and I got my SP within 2 days anyways. Didn't try to say the right thing and neither did he. Okay, like I said, I'm gonna take this, you guys feel free to take this however you want. I'm taking it with a grain of salt though, because for me personally, like I said, if this person has had these beliefs reinforced over, like it says, for years, she has all these guys that are just into her. It's going to be easier for somebody like that. It's going to be easier for the guy who's already made $1 million to create a second business that's successful. And $1 million isn't even that much money nowadays. But let's say that it's for the founder of a company who's already made obnoxious amounts of money. It's going to be easier for him to believe, easier for him to create that second one, right? It makes logical sense. So we have another comment here. There's more comments here, but I think that we've kind of like beat that topic to death a little bit. So let's see this last comment here. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Can you talk about your strict mental diet? You weren't entertaining lack, but you were doing things and having thoughts throughout the day with a specific awareness of being in a relationship? Thanks. Yeah, sure. Momentary doubts might come up if he said something I didn't like or stuff like that, but I never allowed myself to dwell on that for more than a split second. And let's keep in mind as well that the guy was, and this tends to be how it is in dating, right? The guy is usually the person that makes the first move, usually the person that puts out the initial intention. And although she said he didn't do anything, I didn't do anything, maybe she felt that way, but I don't necessarily think that's true, because we just broke down the first guy's post and he was the one that initially started this process of manifesting her, right? It seemed like, from my perspective at least, when reading both of these posts, he put out that manifestation. He put out that energy. He was holding it in awareness that he was going to manifest her. He'd been doing it already for a week before she got it in her mind that she wanted to manifest him in return. And then over the course of the next 2 days, through them communicating, he then solidified the manifestation. He then communicated with her. And I don't remember the exact verbiage that he used now. Let's go back and refer to the original post here. But yeah, let's just take a look at the post here, because now I want to like fully understand this here. So his process. Okay, well, you know what? He didn't actually describe how this actually transpired from manifestation to solid, but the way that she implied it earlier in her post was that they were DMing, communicating, and all of a sudden they were in this relationship. But I'm assuming there was a conversation that's like, yeah, like, do you want to date? Do you want to go out? I don't know, right? We're not seeing that. But even in her post here, she says, initiating conversations. Yeah, so he was the one who sent this friend request, right? So again, he's taking action here. And then they had this conversation and decided to go out together. So anyways, guys, I'm just saying a pinch of salt needs to be taken with some of these things, in my opinion, because there is action that's going on. These people they write, and on one hand, that's all well and good that, yeah, no action needs to be taken, but clearly there is action being taken. They, in their own admission, they're saying that, you know, there was contact, friend requests, DMs, right? And so there's action is a part of this process. Anyways, to finish out this video, and the reading of her reply here, it is every moment of the day you are choosing to be someone. You know things about yourself. For example, you know your name, you know you have your phone. When you're walking somewhere to get food, you are aware of certain things. Instead of buying groceries as the person who's single and trying to manifest an SP, be the person that's already in a relationship with them. Walk to your fridge as the person who is taken. Keep in mind, you're already being the person you desire to be. Thanks so much for your reply. I've been doing a little imaginal acts throughout the day, such as when I'm driving, seeing and feeling my partner in the passenger seat, making breakfast, feeling and sensing they're in the other room, just waking up. Did you do any things like that? I'm not sure how else to put myself in the end otherwise. Like walking to the fridge as the person that's taken, to me, can't make sense of that unless I imagine something in relation to them. Other than that, I try to control not feeling lack. She says, okay, let me explain this. She says, when you're going about your life running errands, you're aware that you have family, right? Or your gender, right? You may be brushing your teeth, thinking about random stuff, and suddenly a certain family member pops in your head. You might get thoughts like, oh, I can't wait for XXX holiday so that I get to see them again, or stuff like that. When you have these thoughts, you're thinking from the identity/state of the person that is their family. You're just generally aware of certain things you believe to be true in your life. What I did was, if I'm going to get food, I might think about him and automatically generate thoughts like, yeah, he's my boyfriend. Or I'd think about how good it feels that people around us congratulate us on our relationship. Another thing you could do is fast forward 3 months into the relationship when you're doing morning stuff. You might think about if your partner is doing the same, just things that imply you and your SP are together would be fine. These actually come naturally, thoughts and beliefs. All right, so I think that may be, I agree with this advice, but again, I want to point out the fact that this particular person already has a bunch of healthy beliefs surrounding this topic, which makes it then a little bit different of a process than somebody who does not. Many people who are interested in manifesting, and especially when it comes to relationships, are people that are actually coming from a different background, a different place, where they need to do more work on their self-concept. In my opinion, you need to change your beliefs. You need to change your self-image. You need to work on that. You need to gain confidence in your ability and do robotic affirming, and also create a detachment around this so that you're not so attached to that outcome. You're not so outcome dependent on that person being with you. This needy type of energy that people tend to have that have had a history of lack of success in this area is something that makes it different from person to person. So this reminds me of a video that I posted previously of a technique that I go over by Frederick Dodson called the Pure Technique, which is a technique for manifesting a relationship. And I've used this before, and this technique contains imaginal scenes of the daily things that you usually do, whether it's going to the grocery store, shopping, and imagining that you're there with your partner. Or let's say you're sitting on the couch in the evening watching Netflix, turning on your favorite show, and you're doing that with your partner. And I think that those types of things, and Neville talks about imagining the ring on your finger or imagining them next to you in your bed. Those types of things can be very helpful, in my opinion, and I'll leave a link to the video right here so you guys can check that out. And again, in my opinion, also linked below is the book that I have on how to remove limiting beliefs, how to find them, pull them out by the roots, and then replace them with the beliefs that you want to have, because I think that a lot of that work should be done. There's also some videos that I've posted before about beliefs that are on the channel. But again, this idea that the simplification of her post here, I think is great. I think it can work for people, but I think more than likely this has worked well for her because she's already coming at it with a past successful track record in this area. Take that as you will. I'm not saying this is any sort of limiting belief. That's just simply the way that I see it. I see all the time that people who are already entrenched with a certain narrative, a certain story, and just simply visualizing something for 2 seconds is not going to be quite enough for those people. With that being said, I still think that both of these posts, and the fact that they're both from each person's perspective, she went more in depth with her perspective, are very interesting to see both of their perspectives when it comes to this. Now, I wish they would have gone more into detail about how this actually came about, because like she said in her post, that he actually sent her a friend request, and then they started DMing. He started DMing her. I'm assuming that, and it's not even an assumption, because she said in her post that there was then a conversation about them going out. And so now it'd be interesting to see more of what actually transpired in their conversation, how that actually transpired in the 3D, if you want to call it that. It's just simply just though, like living life. When you're talking to somebody, when you're in the beginning, early stages of dating and having a relationship, there's certain ways that you go about it, and there's certain things that happen, and it's about keeping things more lighthearted. Could you imagine if their conversation was like, hey, like, you know what? We should go out because I've been manifesting you. Like, that's gonna come off weird, right? And so what I do think and what I do appreciate in some of these posts is covering it from all angles. Like, yeah, that's all great that we heard and we understand your inner work that you were doing, but it would be helpful for a lot of people if you gave examples of what happened in the outer world, what happened, like the physical action that you took as well, because it's a combination of the two. There's no such thing as just sitting there imagining that this person is on your couch and them just teleporting and appearing there, right? We know that that's not how this works. They had a conversation, there was a buildup. I'm assuming there was some sort of flirtation as well. There must have been, right? It's not just all like logical, oh yeah, I'm just manifesting you and now we're just together. It doesn't work like that. So again, pinch of salt to be taken. There's a lot that goes into dating. It's pretty complicated, but having that detached energy and having that general belief that you are good at socially, that you are attractive, that everybody likes you, that you have a positive energy about you, being a positive person is going to all work in your favor. And that's the type of stuff that we don't necessarily see in some of these posts. But it's the type of stuff that I love talking about because I love coming at this from a more holistic perspective. Anyways, guys, with all that being said, much love as always. I hope you guys enjoyed this post breakdown. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. If you've not hit the subscribe already, hit the subscribe, hit the like, all that jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one.